All right, let's get into it. Today, we're cutting through all the noise and hype about AI and your job. We've pulled together research from some heavy hitters. We're talking Microsoft, PwC, McKinsey, to build a pretty definitive guide to the 40 jobs most likely to be transformed by AI. So let's see what the future of work is really starting to look like. So, the big question, right? Is your job on the list? And look, this isn't about some sci-fi future 50 years from now. These changes are happening as we speak, and just understanding where you stand is, honestly, the first step to getting way ahead of the curve. To show you just how real this is, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Coming in at number 1, the data entry clerk. Think about it. The core of the job is organizing info and spotting errors. That's a perfect, almost tailor-made task for automation software that's already out there and incredibly good at it. And you see that exact same pattern with number 2 on our list, the transcriptionist. I mean, with speech recognition getting scarily accurate, the job isn't so much about typing out words from scratch anymore. It's shifting, right? It's becoming more about editing and just giving that final human stamp of approval on what an AI has already produced. And then, rounding out the top 3, you've got the telemarketer. This one is all about scale. Conversational AI can now make literally thousands of scripted calls at the same time. That makes it a direct and pretty powerful replacement for a lot of those traditional marketing roles. Now, okay, pay attention, because this right here is probably the single most important idea in this whole explainer. Being impacted doesn't mean your job is just going to vanish overnight. It means you have high AI exposure. That's where a huge chunk of your day-to-day work lines up perfectly with what AI is already great at. So the key takeaway isn't job extinction, it's job transformation. So that kind of begs the question, right? Why these specific jobs? It's not random. There's a really clear pattern here, a kind of recipe for automation, you could say, that makes some roles way more vulnerable than others. And here it is, that recipe. The key ingredients are pretty simple. Tasks that are repetitive, work that's already digital, a chance for massive scale, and a ton of simple, high-volume decisions. And the last ingredient, the one that's a total game changer, is a good fit with new generative AI. Stuff like writing basic emails or simple code. If a job ticks these boxes, it's basically primed for automation. But, and this is a big but, this is not a doom and gloom story. Let's flip the script and talk about the crucial counter-narrative, the human advantage. There are some core things that we can do that AI just can't. Not yet anyway. And this is where all the opportunity is. This comparison here lays it out perfectly. It's the new division of labor. AI gets the patterns, the speed, the raw scale. Humans, we get the messy stuff, complex problems, empathy, ethics, and real, honest-to-goodness creativity. And let's be super clear, these aren't just soft skills anymore. They are rapidly becoming the most valuable economic skills you can possibly have. But it's not just about skills. There are some real-world roadblocks slowing this whole thing down. I mean, think about it. An AI can't physically stock a complicated grocery store shelf, and in fields like law or medicine, you've got huge hurdles with regulations and legal liability. Plus, this tech is expensive to roll out, and companies still have to earn our trust. These are all powerful brakes on how fast automation can really happen. Okay, so knowing all that, what do you actually do? How do you take action? This is the most important part of what we're talking about today. Let's pivot to a real, concrete plan for future-proofing your career in the age of AI. First things first, let's get some perspective. The World Economic Forum projects that while, nearly 100 million jobs could be displaced, something like 170 million new jobs could be created. So this isn't really a story of job loss. It's a story of massive job churn, a great reshuffling of roles and skills. And if that lost number felt a little abstract, this one from McKinsey and PwC really brings it home. They figured that by 2030, about 30% of the tasks in your current job could be automated. This means the question isn't if your job will change, but how you're going to adapt when it does. So where do you put your energy? Well, here's your future-proof checklist. You got to lean into complex problem solving and social smarts. You need to develop data literacy. Learn how to actually operate these AI tools, and focus on that high-level creativity and strategy. You want to know the real power move? Combine deep expertise in your field with fluency in AI. So when you boil it all down, the plan is actually pretty simple. It's 3 steps. 1, Actively learn those uniquely human complementary skills. 2, learn to work with AI, not against it. Be the person who knows how to make these tools sing. And 3, just commit to being a lifelong learner. The ground is going to keep shifting under our feet, and being adaptable is your single greatest asset. Let's just zoom out for a second. The path forward isn't set in stone. The choices that workers, companies, and governments are making right now are going to shape what the future of work looks like for all of us. The research really outlines 3 possible futures. The best case scenario is what they call augmentation dominant, where AI just makes us all more productive and more valuable. The big risk is a displacement dominant future, which could lead to job loss and more inequality. But, the most likely path is probably a balanced transformation, a messy, mixed reality where we're all just constantly adapting. And this quote just nails it. The real takeaway from all this research isn't that jobs are going to disappear. It's that job content will change and skill portfolios will be reshaped. That's the core idea right there. It's all about evolution, not extinction. So, we'll leave you with this. This huge technological wave, it's not something that's just happening to us. By reskilling, by adapting, by leaning into what makes us uniquely human, we all get to play a role. The future of work is a story we are all writing together. The only question left is, what's your chapter going to be?